Katrona being swooned over by the king was something I could fairly handle. But my mother acting this way toward my husband, who was 30 years younger than her, was downright disgusting. How can she dare flirt with my husband in front of not just my father, but also me? I scoffed quietly, throwing daggers at her. Darium didn't seem affected by whatever she was saying as he roughly pushed her hand away from his chest. My mother tried to laugh off the awkwardness, but failed miserably. Why don't the maids escort you to your chamber? You must be really tired after your trip to the palace. I said it with zero emotion on my face. We would very much like that, Letitia. My father responded, clearing his throat before giving my mother a disapproving look, to which she responded in a nonchalant way. A maid walked over to them, ushering them into the palace, with Katrona trailing behind them. She stared at Darium in a flirtatious manner, swaying her hips as she walked into the palace. What is it with women trying to seduce my husband? I guess I need to get a cover to hide your face. You are getting way too much attention from the female population. I muttered under my breath, but Darium heard it, and he burst out laughing, causing me to playfully glare at him. I was feeling more of myself just listening to his laugh, and I found myself smiling, but it didn't last long as our moment was cut short by the voice of my brother. Letitia. I had totally forgotten that he was still here. The woman he had come with was beside him, gazing at me curiously. It's been a while, you look. I'm afraid I can't talk to you at this moment since I have other matters to attend to. I cut him off. Sadness showed in his face, but I couldn't bring myself to care. A maid will show you to your quarter, I informed him, walking back into the palace with Darium beside me. I carried on down the hall to our chamber and only felt my legs go weak when I walked into the room. Darium held on to me, and I used his hand as support. His arms were placed behind my back, hugging me tightly. I did the same, hugging him too, my face to his chest. You did great, Letitia, he whispered softly to my ear. His arms moved up and down my back. You think so? Yes. You were fearless, beautiful, and courageous. That's who you are, Letitia, so don't let their presence be a cause of discomfort to you. He moved my shoulder back a little to glance down at me. Remember, you have the power. You are in a higher position than them. You don't need their approval, they need yours. So carry on the way you are and don't feel bad for having acted so coldly towards them. They don't deserve your kindness. My eyes became blurry, and I felt tears falling down my face. Darium moved his arms away from my back to my cheek, his thumbs caressed my cheek, wiping the tears from my face. My beautiful Letitia, he whispered ever so slowly, his tone sweet and alluring. His hand moved down underneath my knee, then my back, lifting me up. He walked towards the bed, gently placing me on it. He lay beside me, dragging my body close to him so that our bodies were cuddled up. Don't you have meetings to attend to? Nothing comes before you, Letitia, he answered sincerely. Besides, Nico can handle matters of the court. Let's just lay here together for some time till we have to meet your family for dinner. I snuggled closer to him, my face on his neck, neither of us uttered a word. His presence sent a wave of calmness through me. I was dressed again in another beautiful royal gown, this time it was a blue gown with a silver crown on my head. My hair was let down and combed to the side, my face powdered, and my lips painted. Getting up from the seat in front of the mirror and looking at my reflection, I was once again left awed by Kiva's ability to make me look beautiful and elegant. You never cease to amaze me, I complimented. I didn't have to do much, Lady Letitia, your beauty is outstanding. She responds with a warm smile on her face. Thank you, Kiva. Giving one last look at my reflection, I carried on my way, walking out of the room with Darium waiting at the entrance of the dining room. You look breathtakingly gorgeous, Letitia. You could definitely put every other female to shame. I laughed at how silly his words were, yet they managed to gather butterflies in the pit of my stomach. You look quite dashing yourself. I choose to please, he replies with a smirk on his face. Shall we? Yeah. I placed my hands on his, and the door pulled open for us to enter. The rest of the family was already there. They stood to their feet when we walked in. Well, except for my father, who remained seated with his back turned to us. We walked past him, and Darium pushed my chair out for me to sit before taking a seat at the head of the table beside me. The rest of the family took their seats. I was sitting close to Catrona with Devlin and the female he had brought sitting opposite me. My mother sat beside Catrona, while my father sat at the extreme end of the table, facing Darium. I don't know what he was trying to prove by sitting there, looking all arrogant. The maids immediately began serving us our food, the wonderful aroma hitting my nostrils, and yet I couldn't bring myself to salivate over it since I had already lost my appetite. It was times like this that I wished Neith would be here with us, but sadly, she had other matters to attend to. "Letitia, honey, you look beautiful," my mother gushed. "Marrying King Sviatoslavic was probably one of the best things we have ever done for you. I'm sure your heart can't help but feel gratitude towards us for having married into such a great royal family. Truth be told, I'm anything but grateful towards you." I mumbled under my breath before giving her a fake smile, which she reciprocated with an equal fake smile on her face. I glanced over to my front, where the woman beside my brother sat, staring at me. Her lips stretched in a smile when our eyes met, but my face remained blank. I had no idea who she was or why she was here. She was no doubt a part of their scheme. Why else would she be here? "King Sviatoslavic, you must tell me your secret. Your kingdom isn't just the most powerful, but the richest as well. How do you do it?" my father asked, and it was easy to denote jealousy in his tone. His eyes held envy. He was no doubt threatened by the growth and power of our kingdom, probably looking for a way to take a share in it. "Thanks for your kind word, Leandros," Darium responded, not at all bothered at the fact that he had just addressed my father without his title. It was like he wanted to anger him more, and it seemed to work as my father's jaws were clenched together, but he didn't say anything. Darium smirks even more before speaking. "I only have the people to thank for the growth of the kingdom. Nisha's wouldn't have been where it is if it wasn't for the people." "I guess our opinions are different." My father voices it out bitterly. "Giving the people too much credit will give them the wrong idea, making them find use of you with the thought that they can function without a king ruling over them. It is better if they are treated strictly, putting them in their place so they know what happens when they step out of line. They are nothing but commoners who go about their day without the care of the kingdom. They deserve no credit and are of lesser status than us." The room was filled with a loud, booming laugh coming from me. No matter how I tried to control myself, I just couldn't help but laugh even louder. Everyone at the table gazed at me like I had gone insane, which is probably what could have caused such a reaction from me. Darium, on the other hand, had his lips raised up to the side. "I guess we finally found the reason why Hades, even after all these years, remains fruitless." I said this after getting a hold of myself. "I beg your pardon," my father barked, glaring at me. "It's amusing to hear you ask about the success of our kingdom when we clearly have a different approach to ruling. It is clear to see that Hades would no doubt never be even half as prosperous as we, the Nishas, except if the new kingdom was smart enough to know the right doctrine to follow." When I said these last words, I glared directly at my brother. He avoided my gaze like the coward that he was, staring down at his food. "How arrogant you have grown to not know your place!" My father's angry voice had me snapping my gaze back to him. "This concerns the affairs of the kingdom, which are only handled by men and not women. Just because you happen to be the queen doesn't mean you have a say in the decisions concerning the people. You are only required to sit and look pretty beside your husband and pleasure him at night. For someone who grew up in a Hades, I'm quite disappointed in you. How can—" "Enough!" Darium yells, banging hard on the table, which caused my father to cower down in his seat. "One more word, Leandros, one more word, and I will forget about you being not just Letitia's father but the king of Hades and have you thrown into the dungeon." His eyes blazed with anger. "Letitia has an equal right to the affairs of the kingdom and has done excellently well, more than any of us ever expected. I won't sit here and watch you speak about my wife in such a manner." My father was left speechless, not knowing what to say to appease Darium's anger. My mother and Catrona had their heads bowed in fear. My brother had his mouth opened wide, surprised by the outburst of the king and him defending me, while the woman beside him stared at Darium in awe. Her lips raised in a small smirk, and I wouldn't have seen it if I wasn't looking at her. It felt like she was enjoying the fact that Darium had put my father in his place, which made me begin to wonder if my thoughts about her were wrong. Maybe she wasn't like them and somehow ended up being caught in a sticky situation. Removing my gaze from her, I turned to Darium. My hand locked on his that was on the table, causing his eyes to shift towards me. "It's okay," I mumbled. "Anat auoi ecs desser riavnithamoi edifivius. Ari ecebs retesta ecsrex, gin ecs yet not a cafem rioma. Ta idluo a esiec eswoi es desser and es hrionica." I don't want you to get stressed over something this inconsequential. I seem to be immune to his words, seeing as they don't affect me anymore. What I would hate is to see you get stressed and get sick again. Darium's breath began to calm, and he raised my hand to his lips, giving it a light kiss before bending down to peck my lips. Once again, the whole room was left stunned by how quickly my words were able to calm him, except for Katrona, who seemed to be the one getting pissed, but I didn't care. We carried on with our dinner. This time no one said a word. I could only guess it was out of fear of annoying Darium, scared he might do something to them after his sudden outbursts. Suddenly, the appetite I thought I had lost seemed to resurface. "I wonder why." "Grek, Your Highness," the voice answered. "I apologize for the disturbance, but King Ventura has requested an audience with you at the throne room. Despite requesting of him to meet you later after you had gone about your morning routines, he insisted on seeing you now, saying it's significant that he meets with you now." Darium sighed, facing me. A worried look on my face. "What could your father possibly want with me this early in the morning?" He mumbled more to himself than to me. Knowing my father, I'm sure it's nothing of no importance, like he claimed it is. He nods, agreeing with me. I better go see what he wants. He pecks my lips. I plan on finishing what I started later tonight. He gets up to his feet, putting on his royal attire, before walking out of the room. Since my body felt a little drained, I decided to lay in bed for some time. For some reason I've felt so weak lately, sometimes my appetite seems to spike, and other times I feel like throwing up. I had planned to get the healer Leon to do a checkup on me, but I didn't want to do it with my family here in the palace, so I decided to do it after my birthday with the hope that they would leave the following day. With my eyes slowly closing, I found myself drifting off to sleep. Groggily moving the cover over my body to my neck, I welcomed the darkness. I wasn't sure how long I had slept for, but when I opened my eyes, the sun had risen fully in the sky, shining brighter than ever. Holding back a yawn, I turned to the other side of the bed, away from the sun. My eyes opened wide when I saw Gala standing there instead of Kiva. "Your Majesty," she bows, walking over to me. "I had come to get you ready, but found you fast asleep, so I thought I should let you sleep some more," she explained, smiling. Okay. I wasn't sure what to say. I was caught off guard seeing her standing there. "How long have I been sleeping, and where is Kiva?" I asked, confused. "You've been asleep for an hour now," she responded, the smile not wavering from her face. "I had asked your handmaid for permission to take her place in serving you in my time here, since I missed being your personal maid." I smiled at this, understanding what she meant. "What about my sister? I doubt she will be okay with the arrangement." Princess Katrona doesn't seem to mind since she has the palace maids attending to her. She walked over to the other side of the room, fixing the curtain and blocking out the sun. "I already have your bath prepared for you." She walked over to the bed, helping me to my feet. That was when I realized I was naked. A blush crept on her face, not because this was the first time she had seen my bared body, but because of the idea of what could have happened to render me in this state. I cleared my throat, trying not to act affected as we both walked into the bathing chamber, and I stepped into the bathing tub. Gala moved behind me, taking a fistful of my hair and starting to run her fingers through it, washing it. I feel my back begin to relax as she does her work. I was glad I could finally spend time with her since it's been a while. It didn't take long before I was done bathing and dressed up in my royal attire. My hair was once again let down and combed to the side. Where will Her Majesty be heading to now? The kitchen. I responded almost immediately. It's been days since I last stepped foot there, and I wanted to check up on Danae and the rest of the servants that worked there, probably preparing something for the king and me. I stepped out of my room, heading towards the kitchen with Gala behind me. When I got there, the room was as busy as I expected it to be, with maids running around trying to get about their work and Danae at the front of the stove, stirring what was in the pot. Queen Letitia. She beamed, putting her spoon down to greet me. Danae, it smells wonderful as usual. Thank you, Queen Letitia. She grins. Would you like to assist us in preparing today's breakfast? How dare you ask the queen to dirty her hand? Gala barked angrily from behind me. Gala. Your Highness, how dare she think so lowly of you? Gala. I called out to her again, and this time she stopped. There is no need to get angry at them, Gala. Despite my royal status, we are still equal, and I enjoy cooking. Your Highness cooks? She asked in disbelief. Why, when you have maids to do it for you? Yes, it is true that I do have maids to do it for me, but that doesn't mean I don't assist once in a while. They are my people, and I enjoy spending time here with them. Now I would like for you to apologize to Danae and the rest of the maids here. You were rude to them. She looked adamant at first to comply with my request, but she knew she had no other choice as she bowed down. I apologize for my lack of manners and the way I acted towards you all. It's okay, dear, I understand where you are coming from, Danae answered, waving off her apology with a smile on her face. Now that the air is all cleared out, what should I do? I asked Danae with a voice full of excitement. Your Highness can start by chopping off the vegetables. I stood beside Danae, taking out the vegetables, and began cutting. Breakfast was in an hour, so we carried on talking while preparing the meal. We shared stories and laughed. My focus was on the task that I was doing. I didn't notice another presence walking into the room until the conversation ceased. My head shot up to see what was wrong, and I was a bit taken aback to see the woman who had accompanied my brother here in the kitchen. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, making her way to where I stood. Queen Letitia, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I raised an eyebrow at her, wondering what her game was, as she carried on speaking. I'm Princess Minerva from the Juno tribe, your brother, Prince Devlin's wife. I wasn't at all surprised. I had my suspicion that she was tied to him. I could tell from the way he tried shielding her from our family mess. I nodded my head in response to her words while she blinked, grinning from ear to ear. You have no idea how happy I am to see you. I have heard so many great things about you. Her words surprised me, and I wonder what great thing she could have possibly heard about me, or was she saying this to gain favor from me? She looked behind me at the cutting board before her gaze returned to my face. If it's okay with you, do you mind if I assist you in cooking? Her voice sounded sincere, making it hard to tell if she was truly genuine. What better way to find out than to give her the benefit of the doubt?